Okay, so I would just like to do a little bit of a demonstration tutorial on Harmonal Binaurics, our new binaural isochronic tones synthesizer. So when you load it up, it should look like this. You'll notice you have kind of 7 identical setups here. Each one of these is a binaural isochronic tone generator. At the bottom here, you see you have your master frequency and volume knob. You'll notice right away that this synthesizer, it runs as a VST instrument or audio unit instrument, but it doesn't take MIDI input. That's because it is more of a drone machine. And to get started, I'll just take you a look here at what frequency I'm set up at. You can see you can turn the knob. As you would any knob, you can hold down the control button if you want like more finer tune control. And you can also click on the frequency here if you want to set it to something specific. So let's set it to 420, and you can see once you set it to 420 that all these numbers are constantly changing in relationship to this. So the base frequency here is always this first oscillator. Then it multiplies it times 2 to get to this frequency, times 3 to get to this frequency, 4, 5, 6, and 7 along these frequencies. Let's go back to 420. Yeah, to get started, let's just hear 420 hertz. And you get your sine tone going. And at the moment, there's no binaural beats happening, no isochronic tones, and it's just a simple sine wave. To start to create a binaural beat, what I would do is I would take this knob up here. I can kind of tune this. You can see right now we've got 2.88 hertz, so that's how many times a second it's beating. Goes up to 30, goes down. So you can actually type these in as well, but at the moment, eventually I will fix it, but at the moment you can't do a negative number. I hope to have that fixed. There's just a little bit of a coding problem that I stumbled upon, but I think it's not actually a functional issue. So I still wanted to release it. So now we have our binaural beats going. You can control the volume here. You get some visual feedback right here to see the beating speed. It's still hard to get an exact sense of what it is, but that's why we have the number here. If you go down here, you can change the shape. At the moment, I'm on sine tone because it's at its base. I can fade it into a square wave. I can actually change this if I want to. If I click here on the square wave, it changes to a triangle. You see the icon changes. Now we got a triangle, saw, or square. And this shape applies to all of them. So it's not just this oscillator. We have the isochronic tone generator right below it. The amount is controlled by this knob. The speed is controlled by this. So this is the shape of the isochronic tone right now. It's doing a sine tone. We can do like a square, ramp. You know, technically an isochronic tone is just simply on and off, so probably a square wave or a sine wave. But I find it's nice to have a lot of different shapes. Just about any knob in here, if you double click on it, you get down to its home base. But let's do that again. So that's how each one of these 7 binaural isochronic generators works. So each one of these works in the same way. Yeah, that's essentially the basics of what you need to understand. Yeah, just to demonstrate a few other things. Let's get this going. Let's turn the isochronic off. We just have our sine tone. Do it as binaural beats. So, you know, the way that binaural beats works is on the left, on one speaker you have, 420 hertz, and then the other speaker will be doing, headphones is better actually, is going to be raising this by 5.04 or, whatever this number is. So we have at the moment 420 in the left ear, 426.91 in the right ear. and it's pretty easy to calculate. If you want to switch this relationship, there is a stereo swap here, so it just switches which speaker has which frequency. You can always change the frequency anytime. Got master volume control. Now, 7 oscillators is a lot, and you may have these beatings going and you kind of just want to slow everything down at the same time. We have these master controls for either the binaural beating speed or the isochronic beating speed. So, for instance, the binaural beating speed, right now we've got 3, 1.4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to type these in differently just so it's a little bit easier to see the relationship. Oops, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. If I start to move this, you'll notice they all start to change together. So it creates this relationship where they can all be slowed down together at the same time or sped up together at the same time. And still that relationship is there. This was 1 and now it's 3. This is 2, now it's 6. This is 3, now it's 9, so that's how that works. Let's see. Go back to the home base. This works as well for the isochronic beats. You can see as I speed this up, it speeds them all up. Slow it down, it slows them all down. This is especially obvious when you start to have something that's a little bit more percussive. And two other really cool things that we have going on here is we have our slew knob and we have our harmonic knob. I'm gonna actually just take these off. Let's just have a straight up binaural beat. And let's just do the bottom one. So now, if I turn the slew up, it slows down all knob and fader movements. So if I turn this up, you can hear that it's just very slowly turning it, making it faster up until it hits whatever we have there, 5.04. Same thing for volume. It'll now slowly fade out. Same thing for shape. Isochronic speed. So it really just slows everything down. This is great for drones. Just to have much broader gestures going. Play with it while it's happening. And then it just speeds it back up. And then the last thing that we have here is, this applies to everything. So even the stereo swap, so it'll slowly swap the left and right speaker, which can also be a really nice effect sometime. Last thing we have is, as I mentioned before, let's just change this to 100. So you got 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, right? It's multiplying it times 1, times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The harmonic, this basically is a multiplier times this ratio. So I can change the ratio of all of these together. So if I start to slow this down, you can see you get more of a kind of cluster chord going now. I'm going to raise the frequency. So you can get them actually really close together. Or far. Or really far. Add a little bit of slew. Really some interesting things. And I believe that is everything with Harmonal Binaurics. It does have a few presets it comes with. You can mess around with it. Cranky, lame, tipple bits. That's a nice one. And then home base is just reset everything. Yeah, that is a quick demonstration. All right, not so quick. It's been 10 minutes of Harmonal Binaurics, our new brainwave hacking drone synth.